It was a pretty ordinary start to the trading week for the Indian equity markets, and very tight range is what the Nifty 50 traded in. In fact, just about 100 points or thereabouts from the high point of the day to the low point of the day. We ended with gains of about 1/3% or so for the Nifty 50, and we ended below that 18,600 mark. The broader markets more or less kept pace. You had the mid-cap index that ended just about flat, and the small cap index that ended with gains of about 1/3% or 1/4% or thereabouts. The India VIX dropped even further, and that is indicative of a little bit of pressure that the bulls are facing in pushing the benchmark indices higher. But to talk about the sectoral picture, because this will tell you what exactly happened in trade today, you had the auto pack that really were the top performers. That pack as a whole gaining over 1% in trade today. And this is because that the month of May proved to be quite a good month for automakers across the board. You had Nifty bank, pharma, and metal indices that all gained about 1/3% in trade today. The private banks were the ones that were in focus. On the other end of the spectrum, you had the PSU banks that underperformed. You had the IT and PSU banks as a whole underperforming in trade today. Now, macroeconomics is going to be in focus all of this week. The MPC meet later in the week, of course, and on Thursday you'll have the outcome that will determine the course of monetary policy going forward. It's expected to be a pause on the interest rates, but more importantly, we'll have to see whether the growth expectations for the current financial year are revised upwards and whether the inflation trajectory is seen decelerating much faster than expected. What else? Crude, of course, was in focus all of today, and that's because of the sudden surprise cut in production that was announced by Saudi Arabia. Of course, the OPEC Plus as a whole keeping their production targets unchanged. The key movers in trade then, from the auto pack, you had M&M as well as Tata Motors, both of them among the top gainers on the Nifty 50. They hit 52-week highs. You also had Bajaj Auto, IndusInd Bank, Titan, and Apollo Hospitals that all hit 52-week highs in trade today. Reliance Industries also proving to be a supportive factor, gaining over 1% in trade. Stocks and news, Tata Chemicals gained the most in 8 months after it announced the MOU to build a battery manufacturing facility. You had Som Distilleries that gained quite significantly, over 10% in trade after it reported a 40+% increase in its Madhya Pradesh business in May. And you had PVR Inox that gained also quite substantially, the most in a week, after opening a 7-screen multiplex in Bengaluru.